Guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Alexi. Thank you for being here. Let me pull you for a quick chat. Can I? Let me pull you for a quick chat, because off rip, I knew something was weird with this season of Love Island USA, so we need to talk about it, okay? We need to talk about it. I'm jazzed, but not in a good way, because I feel like the state of our union is not strong when it comes to reality TV in general. The reason I started watching Love Island in the first place is because Ariana Madix became the host, and I became a huge fan of Ariana Madix after I saw her stand up for herself when Tom Sandoval cheated on her with her then best friend, Rachel. So that's how we got here, but the state of the union for reality TV, not very good. Not very good, because this week, Love Island USA reminded us that reality TV is becoming more of a courtroom, or at least like a courtroom for public opinion. And producers and TV executives are apparently monitoring TikTok and looking to TikTok outrage for casting and production decisions. Two contestants from Love Island USA season 7, a woman named Yulissa and a woman named Cierra, both women of color. They were essentially kicked off the island after viewers resurfaced clips of them using racial slurs in the past, both in totally different contexts. One, I would argue, was not derogatory. And I think what's so wild is how fast the internet mobilized, but also how quickly the show responded. Which, by the way, it was kind of a half-assed response, and they are gaslighting us in weird ways, but that's another thing. So today I want to talk about, as someone who has been canceled before, what all of this actually says about cancel culture, about accountability, about people who claim they are intolerant toward racism of any kind, and that's what's motivating these kinds of behaviors and uprisings against, like, literally just civilians. Not even people who are politicians or elected officials or people seeking office or power of any kind. But it's this social, cultural capital that these women and people gain by going on the show that make them targets of the online mob. So let's talk about it all. Okay, for anyone who missed it, here are the facts. And I have my notes because I don't want to get anything wrong. In the premiere, viewers, when the cast was announced, people started kind of talking about different cast members who had voted for Trump or talked about being Republican in different ways. So people went after Austin for voting for Trump, and people were mentioning Yulissa for being a Trump supporter as well. In the premiere, viewers dug up a video of, actually multiple video clips of Yulissa saying the N-word in different contexts. Singing along to it in a song, I'm pretty sure. And then also I saw various clips of her on podcasts talking about her boyfriend and her relationship. And instead of saying my boyfriend, she was saying my N-word. Before the next episode of Love Island even aired, Love Island quietly removed her from the villa entirely. Didn't make an announcement about it, didn't say we hear you, XYZ. They quietly removed her from the villa and just said, like, Yulissa has left the island. She never even got to play the game. Then history repeated itself with Cierra, another contestant who is a woman of color. Fans found an old screenshot. Whoever screenshotted this shit, by the way, is weird. Whoever's been collecting these clips and things, that's weird behavior to me, like stalker behavior. But somebody took a screenshot of an old Instagram story of hers using the word chinky, which is a racial slur against Asian people. And that blew up on TikTok and Twitter. And a couple of nights later, she was gone from the villa too. Neither of those girls got to explain themselves on air, which would have been kind of a badass thing for Love Island production to do, like give them a chance to literally say something on air in a confessional. Neither got to apologize or even address it directly with the audience. It was basically Internet outrage. Love Island says bye. Next, moving on. What's the next challenge? Hee hee hee, everything's fine. TikTok's calling the shots now? Here's the thing about this pattern. The internet has gotten really good at finding receipts and really bad at knowing what to do with them. I mean, imagine people going through hours of old TikToks and Instagrams, pausing, screen recording, screenshotting, sharing these clips and screenshots with other people, not to inform, but to condemn. There's no real conversation about intent or context or growth. Just, here's the clip, she's canceled, bye, I knew we didn't like her, I knew she was actually uglier than she looks on the outside. And because shows like Love Island are terrified of bad press and losing their loyal audience, they cave immediately. Now, don't get it twisted and do not get me wrong. Racism and slurs are serious. I take that shit seriously. And if you know me, you know that. People should absolutely be held accountable when they say some off-the-wall, racist, crazy shit. But when it becomes a hunt to destroy people and assassinate their character and put themselves and their family in danger, with actually no room for them to even acknowledge or learn or grow, that's not accountability. To me, that looks more like sport. And if you think I'm exaggerating, just look at the comments on any of these TikTok videos going around. People weren't just calling out the behavior or the use of these words from these women. They were celebrating their temporary and fleeting and fake, at the end of the day, power to take someone else down, to humiliate a woman of color, to cancel her, to take her down. Posting memes like, pack your bags, sis, we did it, y'all, celebrating this shit. People literally called ICE. They reported Cierra's family to ICE. What is that doing exactly? Is that justice, or is that just another kind of bullying? The same harmful bullying, if not more harmful, than the words you claim are so hurtful to you and your well-being and your ability to watch Love Island. It doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't compute. The way people react is so crazy to me, and it really shows how heinous and evil people are and how thirsty they are, especially when they smell blood in the water. So let's talk about the difference between accountability and performative outrage. Accountability means someone recognizes the harm they've caused, makes amends, and takes steps to grow. Performative outrage, that means we scream at them online until they go away or disappear completely, and then we move on to the next target. What happened to Yulissa and Cierra both is really complicated. On the one hand, they said offensive things. Slurs hurt people. That's obviously not okay, and I also believe that, no one is entitled to a spot on a reality TV show if their very presence is alienating some viewers. I fully stand by that. But on the other hand, the way this was handled, a faceless mob, silent removals, gaslighting about the reasons they were both leaving. I think for Cierra, they said she was leaving for a personal reason or for personal situation. Say it with your full chest. Say why you're kicking them out of the villa. That doesn't actually teach anyone anything, other than bullying gets rewarded when you're doing it against the right target. It just turns women like Cierra and Yulissa and even myself into cautionary tales and entertainment for people. We never see their apology because people don't want an apology at the end of the day. We never get to see the actual growth. We don't even know if they've had a proper chance to reflect. Think about everything they've been inundated with since getting their phones back. We just literally move on to the next scandal, the next target, patting ourselves on the back for being so woke and social justice warriors. And you guys have to realize by now that that cycle doesn't change the culture. It literally just creates fear. If we really care about fighting against racism in all of its forms, then we have to do things that are centered around education and change. not just complete destruction. And let's not ignore the role of Love Island here, okay? Reality TV loves, loves, loves to cast people who are hot, messy, and yeah, sometimes problematic. Because guess what? Drama equals ratings, okay? Then, when the internet catches them slipping, the show acts shocked and cuts them loose. But here's the question. If you're a major show, a major TV show in 2025, and you're not vetting contestants' public social media at this point, what are you even doing? It feels a little hypocritical, doesn't it? Because if you're not conducting a full social media audit of every remaining islander there, then I really don't understand the decision making and handing the keys over to a faceless mob on TikTok. The show uses these people for the first couple of episodes, benefits from the buzz, even the negative buzz around their names, and then washes their hands clean of them like they were trash all along. That's messed up, Love Island. And honestly, I'm going to call it what it is. Corporate self-preservation masquerading as morality. Now, before we wrap up, I want to talk about something that is a little more complex that I don't think gets said enough, and it's something I've reflected on a lot with my own situation, especially in conversations like this. And that's what it's like to grow up as a woman of color in America, constantly being told in ways both obvious and subtle that the way you naturally exist just isn't good enough. From the time we are little, we are taught to assimilate to whiteness. Straighten your hair, lighten your skin, quiet your accent, make your name more acceptable. You're told that your features, your culture, your traditions, all of those things are too much, or they're not professional, or they're just straight up wrong, according to some people. And that does something to you. It creates this shame, this deep internalized discomfort in your own body with your own identity. And instead of confronting the entire system that taught us to hate ourselves, we so often end up turning that hate that we've internalized toward ourselves onto other people who actually look like us, other women of color, or other marginalized people in general. I think that's part of what we're seeing play out here. At least I'd argue that with Cierra. When women of color use racist language toward Asian communities, Black communities, it's not just ignorance, it's also that internalized racism and shame coming out sideways. Because forever, we've been conditioned to believe that the closer we are to whiteness, the safer we are. And instead of rejecting that lie, often we unfortunately use that to hurt each other. We project the same shame that we feel about ourselves onto other people. And let me be clear, this is not excusing harmful language, but I do think it helps explain some of what we're seeing and some of where someone like Cierra would even reach for language like that. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it all just reminds us that the real enemy here is the system that made us feel like we have to reject ourselves in the first place, not just the individual who slipped up in this one scandal. And if we want to break this cycle, we cannot just punish people and move on and hope for the best and say, good job, everybody. We have to have conversations about where this shame originates from, how to heal it, and how to stand in solidarity with each other instead of tearing each other down, how to support someone even after they've messed up. Someone messing up shouldn't be the end of their life, okay? I don't think I'm radical for saying that. We're allowed to have flaws. We're allowed to make mistakes. How about we learn how to support one another when we do fall, when we do mess up, when we do make mistakes, when we do say things that are out of pocket or wrong or ignorant? When's the last time you changed your mind on something because someone was screaming at you, telling you everything they hated about you? So when we talk about accountability, I really hope that we can start talking about compassion. Let's talk about how hard it is to unlearn the ways we've been taught to hate ourselves and how we can support each other in doing better. Instead of just waiting for someone to mess up so we can cancel them and feel superior for a day or two. Remember, accountability at the end of the day builds people up. The mob just tears them down. You get to choose what side you're on. So here's where I land on all of this in case it's not abundantly clear. Racism is real and words matter. People who say hurtful things should obviously be held accountable. But cancel culture, especially in the hands of an online mob, is not justice at the end of the day. It's messy, it's cruel, it often leaves no room for real growth. If we want better systems and better outcomes in the future, we have to create spaces for people to take responsibility and show they've changed and to feel comfortable to continue showing up after making a mistake. Not just kick them out and call it a day and pretend that we're safer because we kicked them out of our eyesight. So what do you think? I want to know. Was Love Island right to kick them off the island and the show? Or should they have been allowed to stay, compete, maybe get kicked off if people vote them off or they don't couple up or whatever, and get a chance to explain themselves on air? I genuinely want to hear your thoughts in the comments, even if you disagree with me. Because if we can't talk about these things honestly, then what are we even doing here? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with a friend who might need to hear this so we can have more conversations like this one. Thanks as always for watching. I love you guys. Be kind to yourself and others, or else I'll see you. Bye. See you soon.